Why are we attracted to our opposites? Stick around and let's talk about it on today's episode. Let's hit it. Greetings everyone, my name is Dr. Phoenix Singh, and it is such a pleasure and a blessing to have you here with me today. As always, we appreciate your support, so if you haven't already subscribed, we warmly encourage you to be able to do so now. In addition, hit that bell to make sure you get notifications every time that we post new original content. Now, also, please do feel free to share this video with anyone in your congregation, in your small group, a close friend of yours who happens to be thinking about this issue right now, who maybe they're dating someone who is very different than they are in terms of their personality traits, in terms of their interests, so on and so forth. And please do subscribe to our social media accounts. You can follow us right down here. So today I want to chat with you a little bit about why it is that we're attracted to individuals that in some cases can be very different than ourselves. Maybe you're very introverted and they're very extroverted. Maybe you happen to be someone who experiences their emotions very deeply and you end up with a partner who really does not. They don't wear their emotions on their sleeve. In fact, sometimes you may even get a little bit frustrated that they're not expressing their emotions as fully as you would like them to. Whatever it happens to be, this is a situation that many individuals go through throughout their dating life. So I figure it was worth chatting a little bit about. Now, most people think about the reason why we're attracted to our opposites as a matter of symmetry, as it were. That, we have two individuals who kind of lock together. And it is true that it is a real blessing to be able to be in a relationship with someone who's not totally identical to us for obvious reasons. And this not only has to do with personality traits, but it also has to do with interests. Now, just because your partner may be fascinated by, American baseball, doesn't mean that you have to become the biggest American baseball fan ever. Not necessary. But what you do need to love is the fact that they found something that they're truly, truly passionate about. And to be able to share with that, right? Share in that with them. Oh my, it can make you one of the most attractive, if not the most attractive person that they've ever dated. Now, again, the important thing here is not to join in to the extent that you have to, and you shouldn't expect your partner to do it for you either, right? That you have to become the number one fan of whatever they love, but at the same time to be able to really show interest, so tell me the rules of the game, and maybe it's their birthday and you buy them tickets and you guys go together, or you buy them a signed baseball, whatever it happens to be. Showing interest in what they're interested in is one of the most attractive things that you can do for and with your partner. All right, now at the same time, when it comes to individuals with different personality traits specifically, you don't want to date someone who is too different than you are, right? Now, if you're extremely extroverted, dating somebody who's extremely introverted, not a great idea. Right? If you're dating someone who is very emotional and you feel very uncomfortable expressing emotions, that's probably not going to turn out that well for you, right? And something that we really don't think about that often, which is really the subject I want to talk about today, is maybe a reason that we're attracted to our opposites, which is not going to necessarily be the best for us in terms of the health of our relationships, right? And essentially what it is that sometimes, and it takes a really cold, hard look in the mirror for us to admit this to ourselves, we are not optimized as human beings in every dimension that we would like to be optimized on. And I usually talk about optimization across 7 dimensions. So this is going to be your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your occupational and educational health, and 3 kinds of social health: social romantic health, social platonic health, so like your friends, and social familial health. Okay? Now, all of us are always a work in progress. None of us are at 100% on any of these. And you could be at 1% or you could be at 99%. But let me tell you, all of us still have work to do. Now, in some cases, like I said, it can be hard, very difficult for ourselves to even understand this, we may be attracted to someone else because maybe they're at the 99% on, let's say, physical health, right? They're, it's a guy with a six-pack, super tone, 8% body fat, spends 3 hours at the gym a day, etc., right? And you happen to be a young lady who you perceive your physical health. Doesn't mean it actually is the case, but you perceive it to be significantly lower, right? Now, initially, this is probably going to be attractive because it takes the form of envy. And keep in mind that envy, I always like to say, is very different than jealousy. Because envy is, I believe, very healthy. Envy means that I'm looking at someone, in this case your partner, and saying, wow, this person is so fit. I really admire and I really respect the discipline that it must take, the nutritional discipline, and dietary discipline, and the exercise discipline to be able to achieve that result, because it must have taken a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice. I really envy that. I could probably learn a lot from someone like that, and I want that kind of person in my life. That's how it starts. The trouble is, though, is that if we essentially place all of that optimization on our partner, as opposed to trying to pursue it ourselves, when we pursue ourselves to be significantly lower in that out of 100% rating of optimization, what can happen is that we see that envy of a partner and their traits turn into jealousy. And jealousy is usually marked by spite and, resentment and anger. It is not a good thing to feel. And what I mean by that is, after a while, if you're not focusing on yourself and optimizing yourself physically, you could look at your very physically fit partner and start to get angry because you're projecting onto them and saying, he's walking around, he spends way too much time at the gym. He shouldn't be spending that much time at the gym, and oh my, he's always in the kitchen cooking. We don't have any time to ourselves because he's meal prepping all the weekend. That's all he's doing all week. It's so annoying. Also, other people are looking at him. I don't like other people looking at him all the time. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel appreciated. All of these different things, all these projections that we're putting on our partner over something in our partner that we really loved. We found it so attractive initially in our partners. In other words, we're drawn to those who possess what we do not in the extreme, right? So that we can internalize it, what they have, and own that trait for ourselves, as opposed to working conscientiously on it to be able to optimize ourselves. And in that way, we can become codependent with our partner, which is a very dangerous place to be. When I think about a house, I think about the beams of a house that support a house, right? Just like a relationship, okay? So this is the metaphor I'm going to use in this case. The beams can't be too close together, but they also can't be too far apart. They have to be spaced very intentionally. And all of us at some point in our relationship, absolutely all of us, are going to fall prey to, it's because it's so easy, right? To be able to blame our partner and project onto our partner instead of taking that cold, hard look in the mirror. And let me tell you, the one thing that I have found in my life in terms of my long-term relationships is when you're single, it's a lot easier for us to kind of, just get on with life, right? If we're not conscious of it, the opportunities for optimization are going to pass us by because we'll think that we don't need to optimize. But in actuality, it is the best time to optimize when you are single. When you are single, you have so many opportunities to be, in a healthy way, selfish, right? You don't have to worry about what your partner wants to eat and whether your partner wants to, spend too much quality time together, because that's not your love language, but it is their love language. You don't have to worry about that. You can become financially stable. You can set yourself up in terms of building different asset classes. You can do so much in terms of building who you are and getting to know who you are significantly better in God when you are single, right? Which Paul totally recognizes in his letters. So it's one of these situations where we have to be really careful here. We can't own someone else. It's not like, we don't own our partner, okay? That's not how this works. It's not that, they're gonna rub off on us in so significant of a way that, let's say that we have very low self-esteem and they have very high self-esteem, that all of a sudden, just by being around them without any intentional effort on our own behalf, that we're gonna get significantly higher self-esteem. That's just not how it works. And let's say, for example, that this has to do with the skill set. Let's say, for example, that, when I was growing up, I was never a car guy. I didn't really know how to do anything when it came to cars. Now, when I got older, I started taking these adult continuing education classes, and I took them on everything you can imagine. I took them on plumbing, I took them on electrical, took them on drywall, I took them on everything you can imagine, right? And one of the areas that I took them on was auto repair, because I really didn't know that much about cars. Now, it was something that I really wanted to learn about, and now it's something where I've got a really great, grip on the whole thing. You need an oil change, you need the tires changed, you need the trans fluid changed. Give me a call. I'll be over quickly, we'll get the thing done, right? But before that, I didn't know what I was doing. Now imagine that I happened to be, married to a woman who, just for some reason, she was passionate about cars, knew everything about cars. Right? Instead of me going through with that optimization and saying, I want to learn how to do this stuff, so I'm going to learn as well, or maybe I'm going to have my partner teach me how to do it so I can do it as well. Instead, that we're just so fully reliant on our partner because it is easier to have others do for us what we don't want to do for ourselves. Because to learn how to be able to do all that car stuff, for example, I had to take literally months, right? So individual Saturdays, I spent about a half a day on this, right? And I'd go to an auto shop and have the class and these things for several months, right? So I had to give up my days. It would have been a lot nicer if I could sit around watching Netflix or whatever and have my partner change the tires and my partner change the transmission fluid and all this kind of stuff. But luckily, when I was single, I didn't have to worry about that because I didn't have anybody to do it for me. You have to do it yourself. But when you do have a partner, we can all fall prey to really requesting our partner do everything in a specific area. Maybe you're not great with finances. If you watch this channel enough, you'll learn that, I really care very deeply about your financial health. And by imparting any financial wisdom that I may have for you, that I've gained over the years of running businesses and having an iota of success in that regard. Because financial arguments it's the number one topic that people argue about. Right? It can breed so much resentment and so much discontent in marriage that and relationships in general. It doesn't have to be, marital relationships, can just be dating and long-term relationships. So it's very important for me to talk to you about that. So if you are not great with money and your partner is very good when it comes to saving and investing, etc., instead of learning those things, you may just say, you know what, this is going to take too much time. I don't understand. I can't read a balance sheet. Income statements, make my head go crazy. I also hate doing taxes. I'm just going to let my partner do all of that, right? And that may feel really good because it's so much easier than us learning how to do the things. But in actuality, we're withholding from ourselves our self-actualization. By us going after those things and pursuing our own development, we can become significantly greater assets to our partner in our relationship because we are fulfilling our own deepest desires and dreams, okay? So, the final thing that I want to say, which is just really summing all of this up, is that so often we rely on our partner's gifts, like gifts of the spirit, gifts when it comes to just natural talents that we're born with, rather than dealing with our own character deficits, right? In other words, not optimizing. In the scope of things, it's very important for us not to lose ourselves, our needs, our wants, our desires, and our goals because of a relationship. That happens far too often, and so many people fall into that rut. Doesn't matter how spiritually mature we are, relationships throw us into a completely new territory, especially if it's one of our first relationships. It can be even more extreme. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me here today for this episode. As a friendly reminder, it helps us out a lot. It helps our channel grow. If you do like this video, if you leave a comment below, especially if you enjoyed the video, or if you have questions that we can address in future episodes, it would be a sincere pleasure to be able to do so. Follow us on social media, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me, it would be a pleasure to speak with you. You can go ahead and book an appointment via the website below. Signing off for the day, everyone. I wish you a blessed remainder of yours, no matter where you find yourselves in this world, as well as whatever stage and season you find yourself in this life. God bless you. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed that episode and you'd like to see more original content, then please do click on one of the links right here. I hope to see you in the next one.